Now, by all means, I'm not going to say that I am the most qualified individual to talk about this subject, but I started my business 3 years ago today, and I have been running a profitable agency for the last 2.5 years. I'm 23 years old, originally from Australia. I moved out to Dubai last year when I was 22 years old. I'm 23 now, and I've learned a lot within the last 3 years on exactly how to become a successful entrepreneur to an extent. I moved to Dubai when I'm 22, have my own place here, living very comfortably from Australia by myself, right? Now, the biggest misconception I see exactly is social media portraying business to be easy to an extent. You start up a Shopify store, you market your products and you'll make money. You start up an OFM agency and you start getting models on and you start marketing and you'll make money. It's really not that easy. And in fact, to this day, 3 years later, I'm still working every single day. In fact, my schedule is I wake up in the morning, I go to the gym instantly, I come home and I work until 4 or 5 in the morning. And I've been doing that for the last 3 years now. To become a successful entrepreneur, you really need to dedicate nearly every single waking hour towards growing your business or growing something on the side that's going to benefit your business in the future. For example, I go to the gym every day. I'm growing my body because it grows my mind, which actually grows my business even further. So it's really a massive lifestyle change. I mean, before I started business, trust me, I was a very different individual, and I would never have been here today if I did keep that lifestyle up 3 or 4 years ago. So your lifestyle really has to switch a whole 360 degrees. You can't be going to the clubs, getting drunk. That's just not how the entrepreneur lifestyle is. I mean, you may see it online. You may see these individuals in the club getting drunk, a bunch of course sellers. But the reality of it, if you really want to create a successful business that's profiting 100, 200, 500, $1 million a month, you're not going to be going to the club, trust me. The same as the flex lifestyle, you're really not going to be flexing on social media if you're running a successful business. I want all of you guys to understand that obviously the online game is completely different to reality. Sure, these guys may be making money, but it's really not off their business. They're making money off the course sales. But in general, if you think of any billionaire, multi-millionaire, majority of them are not flexing their stuff on social media. The reality of the entrepreneurial game is that you have to dedicate your entirety of your life to making sure you're hitting these goals left, right, and center. Because at the end of the day, you're competing with individuals that are willing to dedicate their whole life. Let's say you're a human, I hope you are, that you were working on your business, 4 to 6 hours per day, 6 days a week, let's say. You're getting distracted while you're working, you're listening to things in the background, you're on your phone, you're scrolling TikTok, the majority of these so-called entrepreneurs. And you're competing against an individual that's willing to work 7 days a week, they're willing to put in 14 to 16 hour days, and they're not scrolling on their phones, they're not having 100 tabs open, watching YouTube at the same time. They are fully dedicated to one thing and one thing only, and that is scaling their business. Because that's the reality of it, my friend. You're competing against absolute killers in this game. You're competing against guys that are willing to dedicate their whole life to one ordeal. And I've met these type of individuals. And to be honest, I am one of these individuals. I work every single day, 7 days a week, at least 14 hours every single day. Now, if you're sitting there and you're not doing that, that's completely fine. That's up to you. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying to get to that point and to get to that level, you need to be working every single day. Because if you're not, you're extremely behind the crowd that is working every single day. Business correlates to many endeavors, many competitive endeavors, whether it's acting, whether it's sports, whether it's combat sports, whether it's anything you can possibly think of. Let's just base it off the UFC. If you want to be the UFC World Heavyweight Champion, what do you have to do? You have to train every single day, because if you don't, and you get in that ring and that individual in front of you is trained even 1.5x your training rate, you are probably going to get fucked. And that's the reality of it. You can't get lazy with combat sports, you can't get lazy in sports, you can't get lazy in acting, and you can't get lazy in business. There's a good quote by Hormozy, and it says, do so much volume that it would be unreasonable for you to fail. And that's probably one of my favorite quotes because it's nothing but true. You do so much volume every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, every day, that is really unreasonable for you to fail. You can sit there and say, look, I've done A to Z every single day. It's pretty unreasonable for me to actually have a chance of failure. Again, it correlates to sports, acting, etc. I get a lot of content by sitting here and saying, the economy could crash and the business could go sideways or it could go down. But I do so much volume every single day that it would be unreasonable for me to fail compared to individuals that don't do much volume and just expect to succeed. So the raw reality is really entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. If you're willing to put in hours, 14 to 16 hours every single day, Monday to Sunday, maybe it's a bit excessive. But I'm trying to make you understand that there is individuals out there that are willing to dedicate their whole life to one ordeal, and if you are not that individual, then you are competing with him and he will always beat you. But if you are that individual that is willing to do that and you do so much volume that it's unreasonable for you to fail, then the chances of you becoming a successful entrepreneur is so much higher than it is the individual working on his business 4 to 5 hours a day, Monday to Friday, going out on the weekend, going to clubs, seeing friends that don't do business, etc. Talking about sacrifice, there's also a massive aspect of sacrificing individuals around you that are actually not benefiting you in life. Now, not in a sinister way, but at the end of the day, let's say this is you and you have a bunch of individuals around you that aren't in business and you are trying to succeed. You're trying to get to that next level, but these individuals they're not interested in business. They just want to go out, they want to live their life, which is completely fine, but they want to live their life, enjoy their life. As soon as you try and get to that next level, they're always going to be pulling you back down to their level. Now, not in a sinister way. They may not intentionally be doing it, but they do want to hang out with you. They want to go out to the clubs. They want to enjoy time with you. But as an entrepreneur, it's not ideal, isn't it? As an entrepreneur, you're trying to get to that next level constantly, every single day, day in and day out. And if you have people dragging you down, you will never get to the next level. And I've seen this within my own life. You have to cut off pretty much everyone within your friend group to actually attempt to get to that next level. And you could say it's a bit excessive, you could say it's unnecessary, but at the end of the day, if you're thinking about it logically, it's nothing but true. It's all about the replacement. Instead of hanging around with individuals that are trying to drag you down, you hang around with individuals that bring you up, other entrepreneurs, other people inside your business. Now, you may not enjoy spending as much time with them as you did with your other friends, but it is crucial for the longevity of your business, agency, whatever you want to do. If you want to become a professional fighter, what are you going to do? You're going to surround yourself with absolute killers that can fight people. If you want to become the best actor in the world, you're going to surround yourself with the best possible actors you know. And it correlates with business too. If you want to become one of the best entrepreneurs, you're going to surround yourself with the best entrepreneurs you can get into contact with. That's really all I want to go over, is the raw reality of becoming an entrepreneur, at least from my point of view. From the last 3 years I've been running my agency, 2.5 years being profitable, this is what I've seen. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section and I will answer all of them.